welcome to this manufacturing summit here at M360 in Seoul. We're absolutely delighted to have you all with us, to be joining us for the first, I think, manufacturing summit that we've held at an M360 so far. And this year, we're going to be talking about connecting the resilient industrial revolution. So, my name is Jo Gilbert, and I'm from the GSMA. As I say, I'm delighted to welcome you and also welcome our guest speakers today. So today we have about an hour and 15 minutes to really talk about all things related to manufacturing for the telco sector. And we're going to be beginning by opening with Hee-Don Chang from Siemens, who is going to be talking to us about industrial 5G dedicated to industry. So really setting the scene and kind of explaining to us why 5G is relevant in the manufacturing sector. Next, we're going to be hearing from Kyu-Sung Hwang, who is representing the 6G Forum as the chairman of the Smart Manufacturing Committee. And Kyu-Sung is going to be talking to us about private 5G, specifically in the Korean manufacturing market. From then on, we're going to be welcoming David Chen, who is representing the 5G ACIA and also Vice President from Moxa Industries, who's going to be talking to us again how smart manufacturing and private networks are having a real impact in the semiconductor fabrication industry. And then finally, for the presentations, we'll have Tenny Sun from Huawei, who'll be talking to us specifically about a smart factory implementation in Thailand. And then from there, we'll go on to a panel session where we'll be rejoined by David and Hee-Don, and also we'll be joined by Takahiro Nakamura from Docomo, NTT Docomo, sorry. Okay. So let me start, first of all, just by saying, why are we really talking about manufacturing today? And you know, what is the point of this topic and why is it important to us? Well, actually, we've got some kind of key numbers here. And next week, my colleagues in the GSMA Intelligence will be announcing a new report, but we're in the lucky position to have a couple of sneak preview numbers from it here. So what they've been looking at is the size of the enterprise opportunity market for the for the mobile network operator sector. And they've identified that there's a $400 billion addressable market in the enterprise sector. And that's actually accounting for around 35% of all revenues in the mobile network operators today. And then when we're looking specifically at the manufacturing sector, we're looking at around $61 billion in the addressable market for the mobile network operators. So this is really an area that we should be looking to focus in. And as we'll be hearing today, a number of the members of the ecosystem are already looking into that. And that accounts for about 12.1% compound annual growth rate. And that's probably around 4 times what we're seeing in terms of more traditional voice and messaging revenues. So there's a huge opportunity, and one of the things that we're looking to do is understand how the mobile network operators and the mobile ecosystem can really take advantage of that opportunity and make it work for both the communication sector and also the manufacturing sector. So very briefly, in terms of the GSMA, we do have a focus on the manufacturing and production community, and we welcome members of the mobile network operators, the manufacturers, and the wider ecosystem to look at how we can work and collaborate together. And we encourage everybody who's interested in this area to follow the QR link and come and find out a little bit more and join us in that community. And alongside that as well, to complement, we also have the 5G Futures community that's run by some of my colleagues. It has around 1,800 members, which is an open community that's all focused on the learning and the experience sharing. So again, 5G Futures, if that's an area of interest, then please do follow the QR code and join us. Okay, so enough of setting the scene and talking about some of the communities that you can join the GSMA. I would like to first move on to our first speaker of the day. So I'm absolutely delighted to welcome Hee-Don Chang, who is from Siemens, is going to help set the scene and talk to us about the role of 5G industrial manufacturing. So thanks so much. Over to you.
Thank you, Good afternoon. Okay, thank you. It is a pleasure to have a session for the Industry 5G. Um, I'm the Hidonjang from the Siemens, and it is my second time to come to here. The last year, I was an audience, and I heard a word. I got a super impressive for how is the world is moving through the M360. Now in this year, in the second time, I'm the presenter for Industrial 5G. So um, somehow the upgraded, and then one of the good thing was that yeah, I got a table, and then I got I got the meal there. But I also have a great time to discuss with all the panel speakers about the futures. Okay, let's start. Before starting, then you can see that the picture. Then, where you guys from? That is my first question. Are you from the manufacturing side or OT side? Could you please raise your hand then? Okay, okay. Only one? Oh my good. Oh my good. I need to remake my own speech. Okay. Okay. We are talking about the industry and the operating technology. There is generally three layers. One below layer is more for the component or the things and the control side, but it's a very low level. And the middle level is kind of the small size information layer, and then the upper level would be kind of the management layers. When we talk about the industry, when we talk about OT, then everyone has a different angle, a different idea. Then when we talk about the OT, it is very different. So it is also important to understand then what we are talking about it, and then the why our thinking is a little bit different. I think that is a very, very beginning stage to understand all you guys through the whole the session from the me or the all others, the three speakers. Okay. Let's talk about a little bit more that OT technology, as we said. Then, are you familiar with these terms? Oh my God, yeah. Too many lunch, maybe? Oh, yeah. There is a kind of the research from the HMS. Annually, they release how many industrial node was used in, or the new node was built in world. And then there is kind of the industrial protocol. But I would like to emphasize that once this was that so still wired connection is still popular or the use in the more than 71%. And field bus is a legacy is still used. Before the impressive was that increase of the wire is getting bigger and bigger, bigger. So it is a good sign for us to emphasize or the promote industrial wireless network or wireless 5G network into the in manufacturing field. Yes. And then there is a counted node like some yeah, HMI or SCADA system or the robot there or the controller or some IOs, inverters, motors, whatsoever. There is a lot different applications. Some is requiring for the explosion, and the other one is also requiring some kind of the safety or security. I hope that this term is really familiar with you guys. It is also one of the essential part to understand OT or the manufacturing area. Then there is all the combination of the node, and then if you understand, or there is also my point that to understand to OT, then we can also go through pretty well into this market with the 5G. To starting with that, I'm working for Siemens more than 20 years, and then one of my job was selling the wireless. And wireless actually for it is not a new one. It is from my one of the project, which I got some picture for the automotive industry. And at that time, 10 years ago, then we deploy for the wireless. At that time, the benefit is communication, no communication failure, or there is a reliability using the wireless. That time that there is a contactless or the contacted communication there, so there is a lot happen or errors happen there, then wireless is one of the key driver to change, having a more reliability. But actual was not easy, that to having such kind of the reliability, then we need to have a high technology. We need to have reliable solution, which was not easy at that time. But now it is a key core that now 5 is coming, and 5 is coming, and 5G is really fitting for the industry area. You know that for the more and more the autonomous the devices come, ARM and ARG, and without the people, as we said, the non-man, the factories are moving out. And to do that for the low latency and synchronization between, or the coverage for the wide area is getting bigger or important. And the augmentation workforce, you know that for the digitalization or digital twin and AR or the VR requires a large huge benefit, a large huge bandwidth or the more data, videos or the information from the PNID and the control side, different type of the communication or the data should be to flow level in these workers. Yep. And the coverage data, and as well as the bandwidth is getting higher. I mean, for requirements getting higher. So there is a reason why, even though currently we have a Wi-Fi 6 or even Wi-Fi 4 or Wi-Fi 7 whatsoever, then this industry 5G is getting important in the industrial area. And one of the big difference would be that this emergency stuff, would like to emphasize once for this, or to do that. For 5G release 16 is the first mobile wireless standard to having the industrial usage that is, I can introduce in the next page that it is one of the key differentiator against all the other wireless technology. That is also a reason why that 5G is really need in the industry part. Generally, that when you talk about the OT and IT, there is a lot different type of the requirement. Generally, we can say that the OT or the manufacturing say that there is a typical communication is like a bird, pop, 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 like a 200 byte per message. The required latency or the required the delivery is more or less a 1 millisecond or the 2 millisecond, which needs a really high fast or the fast the communication. That is one of the core. The second, even though it needs those kind of the super the reaction time, that is a key differentiate. Do you ever heard about the safety then? Yeah. Okay. the that nowadays that the accident when accident happen in the manufacturing side, it doesn't affect itself manufacturing side at all, but for the hitting for the person employee, and also it hit for the whole supply chains, and then guarantee that not having any issue. It is it was a kind of the safety. So safety means that there is no errors on the communication, and more or less for the process and the machine and whole the production line would be safe. That is a key message. Then it is regulated by for the IEC the 61508, and level is somehow the required level is pretty difficult. Just to make it quick that applying for this regulation that it needs at least once in the 100 million times, only one failure is required or allowed it. So it is a huge, difficult kind of the requirement. Okay, back to my pages. And I also show that my second page is somehow the industrial node. Typically, in the one automotive plant, there is 20 to 30,000 nodes. Nodes mean that for the controller, HMI, and remote I/O, or whatsoever. But do you guess that how many safety nodes is required there? Just guess. David, just guess. How many? 1,000? Very close. Nakamura-san? No, less. The safety only need about the 5 to 600 node only. But the very important one was that it is for the end user perspective, it is their key driver for the selecting the vendors, selecting the protocol, selecting the all the automation system. Then they do not want to, end user do not want to split by this section is for the A and that section is for the safety. No, they don't want to do it. They want to have a one concrete idea or the structure for the whole plant, and then make a whole integration from the bottom to the top and horizontally. It is currently every vendor is doing, and that is the reason why that also there is also the requirement wise that why 5G is fitting for the industrial area. 5G, as mentioned before, that 5G has an industrial protocol, I can say this way. Then it is also adapted in the release 16, and it somehow guarantee or the fully fulfill reliability 5.9. And also latency is would be then up to the 10 milliseconds, which is really fitting for the industrial requirement. So it is a key changer for the from the now for the whole plant that the customer would select that what is their perfect fit the technology. Okay, it is a boring part. I can skip the very quick for that. So not only for that, but also for that, there is a many different type of the application which we can use for the with the 5G. Augmentation will need more bandwidth, and also coverage-wise, that different type of the devices need more. And essentially was that less one device cover the more area. That is a key core for the 5G. There is somehow some theory part, but it is some easy part that the Siemens is also doing for the 5G. Then we are deploying our own factory in AMR for the having a first pilot project for that. And as well as thanks to this, then we can also having many reference in the EU. And also, and it is somehow the still having a 6,000, quite a hot in the Slack. Then, oops, yeah. Then to moving out, this is a very danger. And to do that, secure communication through the wireless is essential for that. And then last but not least, at the moment, the Siemens is looking for the virtual devices, not a physical device anymore. It is one of the job for the remote factories from the Deloitte. And then Düsseldorf, then we can set it up for the virtual controller controlling for this part in the physically, and as well as for through the wireless that we can use this communication there. Okay, last but not least, let's focus on that from the change in the production line and using the 5G technology, then use the flexible and modular production, less thing and less moving forward in this way. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much to Hedon. I think that was really great for kind of setting the scene on explaining how we have some of those real complexities in the manufacturing sector in terms of what they need, but how the 5G network is actually designed to be able to support specifically the manufacturing sector and you know, the opportunity that we've got there in front. So thank you so much for that, Hedon. Okay, so next up, I'm really delighted to welcome to the stage Kuson Huang, who is going to provide her perspective from the 6G Forum and also give us a view on what's happening in Korea. So welcome and thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Hwang Kyu-sun, the chairman of the Smart Manufacturing Committee of the 6G Forum. Thank you for inviting me in such a large global event. I would like to introduce Korea's private 5G and then business case. Korea has a different manufacturing environment in Europe and US and China. Therefore, private 5G cases should also be structured as a model different from other countries. Now, I will introduce Korea's specialized manufacturing environment in private 5G case. Korea is promoting a smart factoring, distribution, and expansion project led by the government. And then the core of the smart factory distribution project is not building an automation system, but a database decision-making system. And then about 30,000 smart factories has been completed in 2022, and then most of them at the Beijing level were data collection is established at around 75%. Yeah. Korea evaluated the manufacturing DX level of company by organizing the smart factory level into the 3 stages. The basic stages is ICT contradiction, and then intermediate stage 1 integrated, and then analyzes the industry data and provided some AI. And then the intermediate stage 2 requires AI implementation and control bases on data. Productivity improved by about 30%, and quality improved by 42%, and then costs were reduced by 50%. In this process, it is a recommendation that the data collection standard is provided the OPC-UA. OPC-UA standard for data collection based on interoperability. The based on this, the government recommendation promoting AAS. AI autonomous manufacturing is based on data collection standard. The final direction of AI autonomous manufacturing is provided intelligence based on SDF. SDF meaning is a software-defined factory. SDF is the converting existing hardware manufacturing to software. And then only by promoting OPC-UA based on the standard interoperability can interoperability with the private 5G the guarantee. The screen you are look at now is a case of private 5G in Korea. For services utilized within the manufacturing, database, the communication, connection to production, quality, and so on are considered important. In this process, there are many demanded to convert to easily using Wi-Fi within the factory private 5G. Core facility for data collection, IoT, and device use private 5G. IoT required for factory workers and simple operation management use Wi-Fi to separate the communication and strength security. I will explain this in the detail on the next page. Smart factory led by the government focused primarily on the data collection. We supported the application of various devices and IoT for user analysis and AI, and used the Wi-Fi for communication. And a result, communication integration has been easily supported, but security incidents have continued to occur. In particular, SMB manufacturing companies in Korea often lack IT and security experts. According to the analysis by Korea Security Agency, manufacturing companies account for 40% of all security incidents in 2022. Among them, the most prevalent type of the security incident was a ransomware. When a factory is hit by ransomware, its system can be unusability for over 5 days. In relation, in ransomware, companies paid over 10 million Korean dollar, but only about 60% were able to recover. Therefore, we propose private PIVs as a network separation security service for the smart factory deployment project. Starting in 2024, we propose this technology through the Smart Factory project, and as of this year, more than 6 companies are implementation to service. We are in discussion with the government to implementation this service in more SMB manufacturing companies by 2025. Now, I would like to introduce a service model being promoted SMB companies in Korea. In Korea, factory workers are responsible for the significant portion to production. However, there is an increasing number of older workers in the factory. Workers are responsible for transporting finishing products once the production process to complete. Due to the clean room environment, only the workers can perform this transportation. Therefore, combination of manual and automated transportation method needed to the employee as necessary. Most of autonomous mobile robot AMR, we commonly see you design the heavily load. Factories in Korea are very cramped, make it difficult to deploy heavy AMR. In other words, we minimize the transportation for workers to provide the product movement using elevator. We using elevator interflow movement and connect private 5G to minimize the communication interference and AMR contention. This is a case, yeah. So very small, yeah. The second service model is a case of implementation private pipes through the small cell within the factory. The target factory produces specific component of automotive steering system. The factory covered an area about 2,644 제곱미. And the height of the production equipment within the factory is not very high. Therefore, configuring it with a small cell did not pose any issue with the communication quality. Previously, more than 10 Wi-Fi access points were set up the operation, but there were many issues in the communication quality. In certain areas, Wi-Fi communication with the floor leading to frequent interruption during the data collection. As a result, operations were managing data direct from the equipment via USB. However, the absence of specialized personnel within the factory made it difficult to analyze the cause of the decline in communication quality. They considered integrated the main equipment with the industrial wired communication, but they anticipated that it would cost around 28,000 US dollar. So they abandoned the idea of wired communication connection. However, if configured with a 5 small cell, cost will be reduced by 30%, and then operational management efficiency will increase. This service model appears to be application-able to various SMD manufacturing factory. We often say the 5G is expensive, but the cost industrial wired communication in manufacturing are not cheap. In such manufacturing environment, we believe the private 5G is actually more cost effective and will contribute to the stable operation and scalability. Today, we introduce various private 5G service model in Korea. Korea manufacturing market is changing different every year. We will provide private 5G in more diverse ways to solve problem in the manufacturing. Please keep an eye on private 5G in Korea, and thank you.
Soon for that. I think one of the things that was fascinating to see is the real proliferation of smart factories in Korea, and then also the leaning towards 5G private networks, which is absolutely a theme that we're seeing. And then, of course, seeing those use cases always fantastic. So mindful of time, I'm going to move on to our next speaker. So Dr. David Chen, a board member of the 5G ACA and also VP for Industrial Wireless at Moxa. You're going to kind of carry on the private 5G theme for us. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, this is David Chen. So just follow the Hee-dong and Kyo-sun's presentation. I'd like to talk a little bit more about how we use industrial 5G to transform the semiconductor smart manufacturing. So the topic is quite simple. Private 5G leads the smart manufacturing transformation for the next generation semiconductor fab. So look at that. I know from hearing all the great presentation from the morning session, I remember the Samsung talk about the AI, the importance of AI. So a lot of manufacturing are now in a data collection mode. Like Kyo-sun just mentioned that early on, right? Some data collected from all the manufacturing forum. Some of them may not be safe, may not be secure. How do we handle that? And how do we introduce AI into this AOI, smart AOI, automatic arm, to control all these mechanical arm to pick up different things. The kind of reliability and the availability and even the latency requirements are really strict. AGV and robot, you want to make sure all these AGV, robot, AMR moving around in a tiny space, moving across the elevator, all kind of things. How do you make sure that there's no dead spot? A lot of time we have been seeing a lot of AGV that get stuck in some certain places and kind of block all the smart manufacturing flow. So taking a quick look at that, in the 5G ACIA, yeah, I'm kind of honored to represent in the OT domain. So you can see from the 5G ACIA's viewpoint, 5G can replace wires when it makes the most sense. So we are not saying that wireless is going to replace everything about wire. It may be happening now in your home, in my home, right? I remember when I grew up, I used the dial modem, but no kids know what is dial modem. No. Everybody is now using the Wi-Fi to connect to the internet. Today is a natural thing. OT world is moving toward that direction. So 5G can replace wires when it makes the most sense. And what's the best solution for 5G? You want mission critical application over the wire Ethernet. Anything mobility, mission critical. You want something really reliable. Wi-Fi is good, but Wi-Fi is not as reliable as 5G. An OT customer may choose to deploy and operate the private network on their own. Everything, including the management, can be kept on premises. I have a lot of OT customers telling me, 5G is great, but don't keep my data out of the, there's so many hackers there. There are different level of hacker. There are individual hackers just want to play around. There are organized small company want to breach your network. There's a national army trying to do the cybersecurity attack. So a lot of OT customers, they say, great, you want to deploy 5G? Keep everything within my premises. No external connection. And the 5G connectivity to external network only when necessary. So this is the kind of challenge. So when you see that different kind of domain, public network domain, IT enterprise domain, OT, for example, production 1, production 2, different kind of domain, you will see different kind of thing. You will see on the left-hand side for the smart manufacturing, for connected worker, for robots, for AGV. Those are kind of communication as needed, right? But when you're doing some manufacturing, you have line controller, you have machine controller, section controller, human-to-machine interface, all these kind of things for all kind of sensor, actuator, that's a different kind of domain. So different kind of domain, you have different kind of connectivity requirement, different kind of latency, availability, and security requirement. So taking a look at different kind of use cases. So you can see some on the right-hand side, some asset monitoring, right? You have some protocol gateway, like he don't talk about all the Profinet, Profibus, those kind of industrial protocol, right? And how you actually can monitor different kind of asset. And then video streaming, for the CCTV. A lot of time people didn't know that. I remember my first deployment of OT 5G, they say, please check the production line, whether the worker wearing the safety helmet, safety goggle, safety protection. The reason is simple. Any worker got hurt, even got accidentally killed, the whole production line will be shut down. And government will come in, right? Make sure you can ensure your manufacturing, the safety of all the workers before you can resume your production line. That's a huge no-no. So a lot of people say, why do we need to use all those kind of video to monitor everybody? Because there is a need. Worker safety is the most important thing. And you have the AGV and RGB and the AMHS, autonomous, material handling system. And on the left-hand side is something I want to talk about. Is how this kind of thing has been adopted in the semiconductor factory. So when you see the DPN, local scrubber, I'm going to talk about that really quick. So why private 5G? Why not Wi-Fi? As I said, Wi-Fi is great, right? But Wi-Fi is unauthorized. Basically, you don't need authentication. It's basically, you don't need it's a license ban. Everybody can get in. And one funny thing is I remember I visited a customer. I said, you have your cell phone on? Can you shut up the hotspot? The reason is simple. They are using Wi-Fi. And everybody has a hotspot. Accidentally turn it on, you will interfere the operation. But in the USA, there's a law. You cannot force people to turn off the hotspot. That's their freedom. You can't do it. But in certain countries, you have to surrender your cell phone before you can walk into the OT domain. Just give you some idea. Wi-Fi is great, but a lot of interference and license ban. And also, Wi-Fi has scalability issue. Wi-Fi is using a collision detection thing. So if you have a little bit kind of more collision, when you have 10 nodes for AP, everything is good. You have 20 nodes, start to get sketchy. You have 30 nodes, man, everybody suffer. If you have more than that, suffering more. And the collision, latency, packet drop. So Wi-Fi is cheap, but you have a price to pay, right? But if you use a 5G, everything is scheduled. If you have a 100 node, 200 node, everybody can be treated equally. And everybody can get the same latency. So the Wi-Fi is good, but don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Wi-Fi is totally bad. A lot of customers say, can I make use of my existing Wi-Fi infrastructure on top of the 5G? So there are a lot of this kind of hybrid operation. All right. Now moving to the semiconductor thing. So we have a semiconductor fab, in Taiwan, and they are talking about using 5G. Because Taiwanese government is promoting AI, promoting the big data, promoting the 5G. The whole thing is that the first application they are using is called dry pump, dry vacuum pump, and local scrubber. This is very simple. Every time you produce a new batch of semiconductor wafer, you have a lot of toxic air got produced because you are doing all the etching thing, right? So this toxic air need to be processed, and before you can release to the open air. If anything you're polluting the open air, the factory will be shut down. Government will come in because you're impacting the public health. That's why the first application Every semiconductor fab has a few thousand of this kind of local scrubber and the dry pump for them to operate. So in the past, everything is using wire. But you can think about how you manage all the wires. I heard all the customers complaining. If I have a 1,000 wire, 2,000 wire, 10,000 wire, every wire I want to trace which wire is not working, which wire is working. If I want to deploy additional dry pump, all these additional costs. Right, so this is the kind of thing. So the success story, what we have been seeing, just give you some idea about a semiconductor fab. So the first thing they are doing is local scrubber, dry pump, suck out all the toxic air, process all the toxic air, control that. And the interesting thing, I did ask them, control a dry pump, control a local scrubber, I only need at most 1 megabit per second. And you are deploying 5G, the minimum is 1 gigabit per second. So why you need the 5G for such a small bandwidth? The reason is simple. Because the traditional OT, they are doing something really conservatively. They gradually collecting the data, controlling this equipment. But on top of that, in the future, as we heard all the things in this event, and M360 talking about all the AI are coming. What is AI? To collect all the data. There's so many data can be collected. Machine status, the temperature, all those kind of things. All the data being collected. How you process that. How fast you can process that. What kind of data are useful. All those kind of things. So for this semiconductor fab, they thought very far ahead. They not just control the pump. Thinking about down the road, when I implement all the AI thing, how many data I can process? How fast do I want to transfer this process data? Do I process in the central area? Do I process in the local area? What kind of latency I want? So that's why we see all these kind of things. They want to deploy the 5G at this point. So because when they deploy, another thing I want to tell you that, unlike you and me, now every 5 years we have a new Wi-Fi, right? Now I guess a lot of people are buying Wi-Fi 7 to replace the Wi-Fi 6 in your home, right? But in the OT world, it's not like that. A lot of my customers are using Wi-Fi 4. That has been there for like 10, 15 years. Once they deploy, they always tell me one thing, deploy and forget. Means that I want to deploy technology. I don't want to remember it existed. I don't want to replace it every 2 or 3 years, too costly. So the whole thing is that OT world, they want to pick the most stable and reliable technology and deploy that. And once they deploy that, they want to stay there, for a long time. So another thing is that one private 5G can fit many use cases, as I mentioned. You are not just control the pump, you're not just control the local scrubber. Down the road, edge AI, right? A lot of latency requirement, reliability requirement, security requirement. Connecting the MES and the APC, CCTV, HEV, AMR, and even this kind of automatic handling of this material. All these kind of things, they want to use the same infra. So they don't want to do it twice. They want to do it just once, and they want to pick the most reliable one. So that's why they don't pick 4G. 4G is every 10 years you have a new generation of cellular technology. 4G started in 2008. It didn't really get widely used until 2012 or 2013. When the 5G came about, to 2019, we're in the 5th year. Now it's 2024. So I think we're going to see the 5G to have a great uptick really quick. And 5G is going to be there for a long time. Once they deploy the 5G, they want to make sure the 5G solution can stay in the factory 10 years, 20 years, not changing a lot of things. That's a great investment they want to do. All right, and now we see ICT and OT are converging. A lot of people are talking about ICT, right? IT solution, communication sector solution, but you have OT, traditional OT thing. OT sector is a little bit more conservative. It takes a lot of convincing, a lot of trial, a lot of proof of concept before they feel okay. Because they told me one time I visited a customer in Japan. I mentioned that to Nakamura-san. Customer saying that, David, don't give me the latest 5G. Give me the most stable 5G. I hope you know the difference. Latest and greatest, release 17, release 18, the chipset just came out, they said there will be a lot of bugs. I'm in no hurry. Once I deploy that, I want that to deploy and forget for 10 or 15 years. Give me the most stable one. So that just give you some idea about IT and OCT mindset, totally different. All right, so I think I'm running short of my time, really quick. So some showcase, we do see this in southern Taiwan. They do this in the semiconductor packaging and testing warehouse. They also do this. So really quick. Private 5G ecosystem is now maturing. We see a lot of people are trying to actually start to see semiconductor fab to deploy a private 5G. And then we also see, we have a lot of experience system integrated in the ICT, not much in the OT. So we're gradually seeing a lot of OT system integrator maturing, learning from the ICT and know how to handle that. So semiconductor fab, why never suffer from all the costly reconfiguration and significant downtime in the production line to accommodate the process change? So who is coming to the rescue? Private 5G coming to the rescue. One private 5G connectivity can fit many use cases. No need to have a dedicated Wi-Fi for each use case. So we'll see a lot of these things going further and further. All right, this concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thanks so much, David. I think probably the key takeaway from that then is around, from the OT perspective, they're really looking for a future-proof solution, and 5G is the proposed answer for that, and something that this market is looking for. So thank you very much for sharing that with us. Okay, we're going to go to our final presentation before we move to the panel. I'm really happy to welcome Tenny Sum from Huawei to the stage, who's going to be sharing the Huawei perspective and also a case study from a smart factory in Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Tenny from the Asia Pacific of Huawei. Basically, my background is not technical, but today I hear something about the technical information about 5G and the implementation on the integrated device and machine. I learned quite a lot. Today, my presentation is more focused on the use case. The use means that it's not really technical, so it's easy to understand. So you can see this diagram, and this is actually, we have a platform. It's called FreeCloud from Huawei. So all the FreeCloud, we put all the use case in our Huawei platform. So all our customer or our frontline rep office can use the FreeCloud platform to navigate all the use case in our platform to share all the use case to our customer. So with you working with Huawei, you have a very good use case. We would love to put your use case into our FreeCloud platform together. Okay, so I would like to say something about the 5G, how to accelerate the manufacturing in digital transformation, because I'm very happy today. I hear a lot of good things. It's different back to a few years ago. Few years ago in the 2B market, still have many people there doubt about whether the 5G is ready for the 2B market or situation to implement the production environment. But we do have a very good use case in China back to a few years ago, and we replicate a few of them into the overseas market. Needless to say, the 5G now we are entering the convergence on the OT, the operating technology environment. So in the manufacturing, we deliver a very extra value to the industry. It means that like in the flexibility-wise that we can produce more production flexibility to the owner. So not unlike the others platform, you need a lot of cable to move or to change their production line into another design. I checked with some of the manufacturer every quarter or every half year. They have a new production line, have to move from one line to another line. They would never buy a new machine. They would change the production line so that the cabling and the system, they need to move around to another location. So the wireless solution is very important for them to think about. Is it Wi-Fi is good enough? Any other solution they can connect with? How about 4G? Okay, so we are thinking about 4G, 5G, and the Wi-Fi, how to compare. But after the 5G launch, we do a lot of testing and the slicing. We call the private network slicing technology, implement it with the 5G technology. It's very successful. And no matter it's a rich industry, particularly in the manufacturing side, we find that the slicing technology applied in the production, particular for the machinery, they need a very low latency processing. It needs the 5G slicing and also the private network to protect the data as David mentioned about that, the data safety and the privacy, how the interference case, all can be, compared in this kind of manufacturing plant to use the 5G technology instead of other technology. Okay, so the flexibility to help the industry is very important. Secondly, the digitalization. The engine for another engines to drive the industrial 4.0. Digitalization is very important for the management to think about how to collect the data, how to provide more efficiency on the production planning. So the digitalization is one of the areas they think that is that manufacturing can apply all the data in the scheduling, the production side, or the warehousing. Is very important them to do in the digitalization. Last but not least is the area in the intelligence side. So the inspection for each production process is very important for them to automate instead of using the human resources to checking all the production process. So not only for the industrial requirement we fit into the 5G technology, and also we have a different scenario we already implement in the production, logistics, security, and the maintenance side. So they are very focused on the uplink, downlink, and also positioning. All the technology can be applied in this kind of scenario. So that's we also focus those kind of deployment in China and replicate those production function and features into the other overseas factory as well. Particularly in one of the case in China, media, there's a very good case that the last 5 years, they spent about 1.7 billion of the US dollar to invest in the digital factory, smart factory across the overseas market. Currently, they have planning for more than 20 of the 5G factory and using different kind of technology and the use case, like as David mentioned about in the AGV and also in the data connection, a lot of devices, gateway, and different kind of protocol connect the data into the server to produce the management process and the decision making. So AI technology also apply in some of the inspection of the production technology. So that's why the company, they spend this kind of budget, 1.7 billion in 5 years, to expand the 5G plus industrial internet from since the 5G launch. And so that there's very successful case already made in China. So also we have a consecutive year from GSMA award for the best application for the mobile solution. Back to 2023, we have a Barcelona award, and also early this year, we have the Shanghai MWC award from the median case. So that's why we have a very successful, proven commercialized case from China to overseas. And also, we are moving from this case to other countries, like in Thailand, Indonesia, Vietnam, and also Malaysia. They also have medium plan. They are going to implement this kind of same technology, 5G factory together as well. So in media, Thailand 5G smart factory, the area is covered about 200,000 square meters and started back to 3 years ago. And they produce an annual 4 million of the air conditioner per year. So that they will plan this kind of factory to be the first internet, the 5G private network factory plant as a good example and replicate it to other areas, to other countries. So this is a very important milestone for them to implement this kind of technology in the overseas market. So the factory is a lighthouse, sampling house for factory in the 5G AI and the big data, and also the cloud platform. And the Industry 4.0 is the long-term strategy from the media factory to implement. Upcoming maybe the 5.0, but now is in China there is also follow the structure of the Industry 4.0 standard. So 5G plus Wi-Fi is all connected factory. So they have not remove all the Wi-Fi, then they will converge every technology into together, and also they collect the data in different means of the device. Because some of the manufacturing equipment is still using some traditional method to connect with the to the network. So there are some of the use cases are very typical and deployed already this year. It's a 5G, the Wi-Fi in the operation room. The operation room is an inspection room to inspect all the single PLC device, which area have the defect, and that will improve the efficiency. AI is being used as a camera to detect all the defect area, as I mentioned, and the data collection, all the gateway. And the gateway is a reused Huawei gateway, and also the other third-party gateway also implement together in the system and link directly to our 5G network. 3D warehouse and also the AGV is very commonly used, and the robot arms is also an AGV implementation in this factory. So one of the use cases I want to highlight here is the AGV. The area of the Wi-Fi, when you use Wi-Fi AGV, although they are running in the factory all the time, but there is some disconnection, is interference, is affecting the AGV is moving around. So that will be some of the assistance of the AGV. They will use the QR code, put it on the floor, and they will scan the code and they go to the destination and work together with the Wi-Fi network. But in this case, from media case, they use the very easy plug-in 5G dongle and just put into the AGV module and have a very simple test, and they will use it and deploy it very easily. So they deliver the very good SLA as a 5.9 SLA level to implement this kind of production in the around the warehouse system. So the reliability of the responsibility of the overall structure. Media is an own user, the owner of all the platform, but China Unicom is the main system integrator to help the vendor and also the network implement each other together to deliver the final solution to the media factory. So this is a single point of contact, make the project implementation more easily. That is a use case for the system integrator. We use some of the vendor for the camera device, and Huawei support the local operator to implement the network. And this is their 5G dongle and plug into the AGV to integrate everything together. Another case is AI. The AI, we use the AI camera and connect with our 5G industrial network gateway and connect directly with we call it base station, the 5G station, and together with some of the indoor coverage. And there is the mobile edge computing to protect all the data and working together. It's very important to protect the data within the local private network. Okay, so we call it an edge server inside the private network. Another case is similar. We mentioned about is the 5G use case for the media customer to be the system integrator with China Mobile. The last case with data connection, we connect all the different vendor because the factory they have many different vendor device. So we consolidate all device together and with the 5G network and send to the server farm. Okay, 5G not only for the individual device, so we have for the human worker, campus, IoT, and the autonomous devices together, and also the industrial connectivities for the fully connected factory, and the low latency can be implemented into the environment, and generate a lot of new connectivities together is also very important for the 5G network to help the industry to promote and also to integrate more different kind of services. From Huawei side, our core competence, not only for the local or country, we have more than global network, connect with other like Southeast Asia, Middle East, and Africa. And we understand the market. We have a leading solution. We also have a very full-stack IoT portfolio and also the ecosystem. I'm the person involved in more on this ecosystem. So we would love to work together with some partner, with GSMA or the Alliance program to promote more our strategy and also our solution. The last, we have good resources for the partner store. We have a power store from different industry like VPN, manufacturing, port, and also we have use case. As I mentioned, that we have free cloud to provide to our partner together to can launch their use case together. And also we have brochure, library, catalog, everything in the store, so we can easily download. And last but not least is the 5G Immersive Experience Center. We have a demo center in the Media Factory and also in Shenzhen, in Seaport as well. Okay, so this is my presentation today. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tony. Thank you for that. I think it's really great to be able to see those use cases, and also I saw in there some of the returns on investment and some of the benefits, which I am seeing more and more in these presentations over the last 12 months or so, which is really great to see. So thank you for that. Okay, right, let's move us along. Okay, so I'd like to finish this session, we're going to have a panel. So I'd like to welcome back up to the stage Hidon and David, and also welcome to the first time Nakamura-san from NTT Docomo. So please do come and take a seat. I'll grab this one. Do you want to go? Great stuff. So we'll just check all these mics are working. Wonderful. Okay, so I'd like to start, if I can, with Hidon. So thank you so much. You opened the session and talked to us about the industrial 5G and kind of set the scene for us. And then we also heard from Kyu-soon, who talked specifically about the 6G perspective, from the 6G forum, talked about the Korean perspective, which was fabulous. So you've actually been in this industrial sector. You did mention it, so I'm not giving away any secrets here, that you've been working in this sector for around 20 years. So kind of building on what we've already spoken about, what changes have you seen here in Korea in the last few years, and what's actually surprised you most about what we've seen in terms of digital transformation in the manufacturing space?
And then
okay.
the focus on the 5G and the digitalization there.
Yeah.
Okay, then surely that's for that there is a lot different changes in the manufacturing side as well as for the overall the industry in Korea. One of the main part for the private 5G deployment, which was from the 21. In Korea, if I'm not wrong, that there is 20 deployment for the 5G from the supplier, I mean telco, and then around another 20 for the 15 to 20 for the private one for the own deployment by the customer. Then a lot different application has been developing, and then the good one was that everyone was already produced published in the public, then everyone understand that what is the benefit out of the 5G, and then what is the use cases there. There is a relationship good, and even though the kind of the beginner or the designer in the factory or the production side, if they want to deploy or the plan how they do, then they can really learn that what the other company has been doing or has been done in the use cases and the benefits, and then not in detail for the cost-wise, but for that they got super benefit for that. What is really advantage in practice? That is a really cool part, and as well as for the, as I mentioned before, that it is open to webs. Just searching, then the 2 or 3 clicks, and then they can get what they want. There is a really super part. And back to for our the more detail in the how this the Korea is moving around. That in last year, I think that the big game changer is absolutely AI. And 5G plus AI, or production in AI, and everything with AI, and a lot different application was developed together with the development of the AI, and then creatively, many of the Korean customer are starting, how we can get a benefit out of AI. There is a really huge changes. There is one part, and then generally the general deployment for the 5G would be that, so AGB, AMR for the some mobility wise it. And safety, some site and they pay attention on the safety, as mentioned before, that from the what was it, that the Huawei, that from you that the safety devices is on, then AI was together, then they scan it, then everyone was fully equipped or not, then just someone is calm, then there is also kind of the application, which I like it very much. And the last but not the least, then not only for the manufacturing side, we are really focused on the medical part, and especially the Korea in the society-wise, that we have many 60 years born employees, but they are getting retired. Some 5 to 6 years later on, then they will retire. Then we have a many good experience. Every time that specialists there, but especially for the medical area, that they will gone. And then currently, then how they can teach or educate the young student, even though Korea at the moment we have a huge for the medical side, but it is also the movement from my perspective, that so we pay attention on with the digitalization as well as for these 5G technology.
Fantastic, thank you. So beyond manufacturing, we're talking about, you're mentioning there some of the other use cases and the other verticals, and with the aging population in Korea, how 5G also plays a really strong role in the evolution of health as well as manufacturing, as we've been talking about. Oh, thank you so much for that. So David, I'd like to talk to you next. So we've kind of talked a little bit around the Korean market, and you obviously, as a representative from 5G ACIA, can perhaps give us more of a global perspective. So what is it that, is this reflected globally, what you've seen here, heard about today in Korea, or are you seeing a slightly different story?
All right. Yeah, talking about globally, very, very interesting. We have been seeing the 5G. In the 5G ACIA, Nakamura-san and I were sitting on the board, and we have been discussing. It looks like the pickup of the industrial 5G is slower than what we have expected a few years ago. And what's the reason? And so we have been thinking about it. The board came together. We discussed many, many times and trying to figure out what's going on here. And it's turned out 5G is great, right? We do see a lot of national initiative, like Korean taking an initiative. Earlier I mentioned Taiwan has initiative. China has a lot of initiative. Japan has a lot of initiative. So all the government, they know they want to invest in 5G. They want to see the 5G work. But as I said, the challenge is that we start to see different kind of use cases. So in the first few years of 5G deployment, we do see a lot of proof of concept, proof of business, subsidized by the government. So that actually they try it, but they actually not sure whether I can do the mass deployment. So what I have been seeing there is the maturity of the system integrated. Let me give you some idea. You and I have been using a cell phone, right? Cell phone have been serving Korean telecom, in China have a China Mobile, USA, Verizon, Docomo in Japan. You know how many years they've been doing this mobile cell phone? Decades, right? How many engineers have been putting behind this? The Nokia, Siemens, Huawei, ZTE, Samsung. They put tens of thousands or even more, many engineers to make sure the network is really stable, easy to do, and they have a tons of experience. But then when you move into the 5G, you start to see, globally we start to see people say, hey, I don't want to deal with the operator initially because operator want to charge me individual SIM card. Every device I want to charge you a SIM card. And for the OT customer, why do I need to do that? When I buy Wi-Fi, I pay one time, I don't have to worry about that. Now you're telling me I want to buy 5G and I have to pay monthly. You have to find a very strong reason to convince them. And second is that, but then you find out the dilemma. They went into the O-RAN. I think people heard about open network, right? Open radio access network. O-RAN have a lot of white box solution that deploys the software, as a service into the white box server and to have all the ODU, OCU, ORU, and deploy all those kind of things. Yes, good. Cost is lower. You don't have to deal with the operator. But then it turns out they don't have enough experience. They only accumulate 1 or 2 years and put together all these kind of things. And talking about reliability, stability, you cannot compare with Samsung, cannot compare with Docomo, you can compare with all those kind of operators who have decades of experience. But thanks to the AI is coming, right? So now all these kind of things, we don't want to wait for another 10 years for this OT system integrator to mature. It's too late. So we are in the dilemma of ICT and OT integration. So globally, we start to see big corporations like EV car company, like Tesla, like BYD, or even in the smart home appliance, like Midea, the Samsung, we just talked about, right? All these companies, they start to gradually deploy 5G. So it takes a few years, it's not the 5G is not ready. 5G is ready, but the system integrated. I always told my R&D team saying that, please don't give me too many proof of concept, too many cases, because every customer has different kind of need. Every customer has different kind of requirement. If I want to customize every single one to customize the support, I run out of R&D. I don't have 10,000 R&D. I don't have 20,000 R&D. I only have a few hundred R&D. So that's the dilemma. I'm just giving you some idea. In 5G ACI board, we talk about all this. So we are seeing the OT and ICT, the gap is kind of closing. It will take a few years for the OT operator, system integrator to get mature, to be confident. Once they have confidence, they learn enough lesson, they fail enough, and they will start to convince the mass, the community, SMB to start to take it. If I'm the service provider, they always ask me a question. O-RAN sounds great, but I got CPE from you, Moxa, I got small cell from A company, I got core network from B company. When I have a problem, who do I go to? And then you pointing finger to each other. It doesn't matter. They only want a stable connection. Don't tell me whose solution you are putting together. Give me the most reliable, most stable, most safer solution. That's all they want. So it will take a few years for this to get mature and combine and converge. Yeah, just give me some.
Yeah, so we're talking about an ecosystem, and we're talking about the proposition for the manufacturer, and we're talking about making sure that we're treating that customer as an individual, because there isn't necessarily one size fits all. Makes sense. Okay, so here we are at M360, and actually in this session so far we've not yet heard from a mobile network operator. So Nakamura-san, we're delighted to have you here. Maybe, and David just kind of touched on it a little bit already, but what is the role of the mobile network operator? What is the opportunity for the mobile network operator in this industry?
Yeah, okay. In any case, thank you very much for inviting me to this great session. This is a very, very important and hot topic even for us. And mobile operator point of view, the revenue from the consumer business, especially for the network service business, is almost saturated. And in order to increase our revenues, the enterprise business is so important. So we are making a great effort to provide services, networking services and application services for the enterprise, other industry people. And But as David mentioned, especially for the manufacturing industry, is one of the most important industries, yes, for us to sell our services, yes. But very difficult. And yeah, actually, the revenue is increasing gradually, but not so successful compared with the initial image, initial expectations. Yes, and but we are making great effort. And also, I would like to add one more thing that yes, in Japan, the Japanese regulators allocated the dedicated spectrum band for the private 5G, so-called local 5G. And that is very that has a very wide spectrum band with us, yes. And many of the local operators and other industry people and the local government has a strong interest in the local 5G. They can use the mobile communication system by their own. They thought, but who can operate that? And they don't have any knowledge and skills to deploy this mobile communication system. So someone have to support them. And of course, Docomo and the mobile operator can support. And that could be a good opportunity to have new revenues. But unfortunately, the local 5G spectrum license cannot be allocated to our mobile operators. But we can support them. By that, maybe we can have a new revenue. And we are making effort for that kind of new business, yes. And also, yeah, as David mentioned, that even for the local 5G, many people had conducted the many POC, proof of concept, by the support of from the government, yes. But stop at the POC. And yeah, in the POC, they have to provide a nice report to the government, and only the champion data is provided. But for the actual development, they need to address on what the problem of the private 5G, local 5G system, and what the reliability, how the stability can be achieved. Such kind of data is needed, and also, of course, cost is very important for them. And they can conduct a POC, but it is very difficult to develop the business model for the sustainable operation. But it's very difficult. So many of the cases, their activities of the POC is not continued toward the real business. That's a difficult point. So, but in any case, gradually the system cost is reducing, yes, and they have a more chance to deploy the 5G, private 5G or local 5G, I think, and gradually local 5G real deployment is increasing, cases increasing, and also the possibility of to get new revenues for mobile operators are increasing, but slowly.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can understand that. And actually, I was going to ask you the next question about what kind of pain points you're seeing, but I'm conscious of the time and I want to move to my last question. But to quickly summarise, I think what we're kind of saying is it's quite a tricky market. There have been lots of proof of concepts out there, but the difficulty is scaling. We're starting to overcome that, but there's still some challenges in place. So maybe with our just less than kind of 6 minutes, so we're looking at about 1.5 to 2 minutes each. What advice would you give to manufacturers that are looking at a digital transformation in this space? So what would be your maybe top 1 or 2 tips? And maybe, shall I start with you, Hee-Dun, at the end?
I can surely say that the difficulty is always from the people. And then there are several that the top management, they need to give a long-term roadmap that it will go. Then there is secured. That is one part. The other one is that sometimes those things was done by only selected people, but it is not for only small group. It should be done by a whole team. And this selected group was get trained. but all the other people should be trained as not equal to these selected one or leader group, but they should be learn and understand the why and how. That is a more important part. I think that the people is the most important thing in all the changes.
I think that was echoed in the keynote actually today around the cultural approach to it. So thank you for that, David.
All right, so my word is quite simple. You hesitate, you will be left behind. Very simple. A lot of people are waiting and see, sitting on the fence. I want to see other big players deploy, I want to see how they do. I want them to show me, prove to me you have a ROI, If you keep waiting, you know what happened? The industry is moving on, right? For those people who are willing to invest now, initially you may not see a lot of ROI payback, but you do learn a valuable lesson. Those cannot be replicated. If you see a few players that are willing to do the 5G for the OT now, and they actually pay, not expecting for immediate return, the experience they learn once they pick it up, and they also force the supplier to work with them, fine-tune the solution, get everything, the experience, deployment, all the difficulty, we know. But if you just want to sit on the fence and wait, you will be left behind. Once the tide is up, you find out, I want to catch on to that. It'll take you a few years, and then you'll be left behind. So very simple, don't hesitate, act now, otherwise you'll be left behind.
Thanks, David. So you mentioned when you were presenting that the OT are focused on, they want a solution, that's future-proof, and you're saying that is here right now. So make the leap. Okay, thank you. And Nakamura-san.
Yep. We are trying to negotiate, discuss, and have a dialogue with the manufacturing industry people. Yes, and that's progressing, including 5G ACI activities. And even in Japan, we had some groups to discuss on that kind of things with manufacturing industries. And we are trying to explain the benefit of the mobile communication, radio communication system that can provide an excellent benefit for the DX of the manufacturing industries. And in other words, maybe radio communications should be some kind of foundation of the DX of the manufacturing industry. So it should be very, very essential to use the radio communications in the factory. So we are trying to explain that such kind of things to the manufacturing industry people, but IT division, IT section people can understand that. But most of the people cannot understand. And manufacturing people, especially for the people in the field, are very conservative, and they satisfy the current situation. They don't want to change the situation. So we need to explain the necessity to change for the DX in the manufacturing industry, to not only for the executive people, but also for the people in the field. So we need to make a continuous effort to explain the necessity to change, even for the manufacturing industry. Yes.
Thank you for that. So I think what we're saying there is we have the manufacturing industry kind of here, and we have the telecommunications industry sort of here, and together we need to try and bring those together. And there's activities happening like 5G ACIA. Of course, that is part of our objectives in the GSMA connected manufacturing and production community as well. So I think that that concludes actually beautifully on me with an opportunity to plug the GSMA community, which everybody, of course, is welcome to come and join. So I think that just leaves me actually to finish and to say thank you so much to our panelists and also our additional speakers for joining us today to help get that word out a little bit more about the role of telecommunications in industrial manufacturing. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. Oh. And also, please do hang around. So actually, this is more information if you'd like to know about the connected manufacturing and production community. Please follow the QR code and do hang around for the next session on smart mobility, which will be starting in approximately 20-25 minutes, something like that. So thank you, everybody.